Hi everyone, it's Tonya, and I want to share with you this little mini I made using a lot of the Canvas Corp products. I'm going to put a blog post down below that will give a complete description of all of the products used to make this mini. I used my Bind It All to bind it with a 1/2" binder, and then just hid that seam with some seam binding. Then this is a flower from Canvas Corp, and then for the back cover page here, what I did was, this is a piece of clear book cover stock. So like when in the office supply section where they do the binding, book binding, this is in that section. And so it's a little thicker than a transparency, but it's still kind of thin and flimsy, but I love the look of it. And then I took a cookie cutter that was heart shaped, and it has a flat side and then it has the cutting side. I used the flat side, dipped it in white acrylic paint, and then stamped it onto the transparency piece. And if you mess it up, you just wipe it clean and start all over again, but let it dry overnight, or at least for an hour or so, until it's good and dry on its own. You can't hit it with a heat gun, it'll melt it. Then to hide where I glued down the flower, and I used the Canvas Corp mixed media glue for the flower to glue it down to the transparency. Hot glue will warp this plastic too, so be careful. But I just cut out a heart out of some scrap, and then used a white gel pen to make it a little interesting around the edges, just to, you know, give it a little life. And this is a photo of my daughter and my son and me. And then on the inside, I have a photo of my husband and I on the other heart. And then this is the Canvas Corp Countdown to Kisses sampler page, and I just trimmed out, so all of the little pieces that you see with words on them throughout this whole book came from that. This is a Canvas Corp little red paper clip medium that I put a piece of scrap damask paper on, and then it's just holding this down so it doesn't get caught on this side of the heart. And then as you lift this up, it has some journaling, and then it has some photos in here. And this is my husband with my son after a football game. It was just such an endearing photo. And then this is True Love. Now, this is the man who is taking, he had just bought me this container for my Copic markers, and he's sitting there agonizing, organizing my Copic collection. And then on the inside, I wrote, I love that you're not afraid to be silly, my grand poobah. So we were in a gift store and he put this hat on. It was just hilarious. But anyway, I didn't want to cover up this down here at the bottom because I like the white space on this. This is a white folder that I cut from my silhouette. It's a file folder. The other half of it's in the back. I just cut the seam out. And then this banner here I sewed down so it was really good and sturdy. I sewed it to the file folder here at the top, and then to hide that seam I just put a little bit of lace at the top. So we'll put our clip back on and turn the page. So on this side, since my husband and I started dating, many moons ago, we dated for 5 years, and then we've been married for 24 years in a couple of weeks. So since we've been dating, he used to ask me all the time, why do you love me so much? And I used to tell him I didn't know, but when I figured it out, I would let him know. Well, that's what this book is about, why I love him so much. So he's the center focus point in this entire book. But these are some of the chipboard tags from Canvas Corp, and they are not chipboard, excuse me, chalkboard, and they're called Tags and Ties. They're from the chalk stock, and I just did my journaling on there explaining that little thing I just said about why do you love me. And then these are some old school Tattered Angels chip pieces that I've had in my stash for a really long time. Well, it says 2009 on there, so it's nice to use them up. And this is from the sampler page. This pocket I cut this out, or I sewed it around the edges here and here, and then I die cut it on the side with a EK Success punch. And then on this I have a picture of my husband blowing me kisses, and then I just did some journaling on the back of it. He does this whenever I walk by, he'll blow me a kiss. Mwah. So There we go. Then on this side, this is from the sampler pack, and it's the poem from Elizabeth Browning, How Do I Love Thee, Let Me Count the Ways. And then this is the scrap from the book covers, and I embossed it with my Cuddle Bug, and then painted over the embossing. It's kind of messy, but I like that look. It kind of gives it that mixed media look. And there's my husband with the dog in his arms when she was a puppy. We went to the mountains when we got her. We'd only had her a couple of days. And so there he is, and then there he is walking with her, talking to her, and she's looking up like he's giving advice. I just love it. Then this came in the collection. It's in the back. I have an MFT die in the back with some green ribbon sticking out, and then I have it says lip service, and they're like, if you see their faces, they're like making these funny lip faces. So I just thought that would be cute. I love the tiered look of this album. But to soften this hard edge up, I added some lace down here at the bottom. And then on this side, excuse me, I have I Love You. This is my daughter and my husband all curled up there. And then I just put some baker's twine on there. I used a lot of my scraps to cut out these Polaroids and to do these, framing and things. So I highly recommend doing that. It just makes your projects look a little more interesting, and I love the doodled look on here. Again, my husband's sleeping with the dog, which it looks like from these pictures that he sleeps a lot, but he's rarely home. So I think I just like these endearing moments, and I just take pictures of them. All the pictures that are in here came from my Facebook wall, so they're little pictures, which is perfect for a mini album. The finished mini album size is 5x7. And then in here I used my We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board to make this file folder. There's plenty of tutorials out there on how to do it. And then there's a little story about him with these blankets. So I put the story there, but it's something I'll keep private. And then on this side, another one of those chip pieces. And then he brought me a car this year. And of course, one of the reasons I love him so much is because he spoils me rotten. So I had to take a picture of him in the car. Then I used my Spellbinders dies to cut out these interesting pages. When I'm making little minis, instead of keeping everything so square and bland, I love it when they have interesting edges. So I pull out my dies and just really start dyeing them up. This is the one page that is not from Canvas Corp that's in here. This is from Die Cuts with a View, and it was a piece of scrap that I had, but it was black and white, and it fit the theme really well, so I went ahead and used it. This is my husband playing with his nieces, and anytime we go anywhere with family, this is what breaks out every time. Uncle Kenny, tickle me! Uncle Kenny, tickle me! And that's where it goes. So that had to be in there because that's part of why I love him so much, is that he embraces our family so well. And then we were sitting in a restaurant, and to this day, if he's sitting next to me, he's going to lean over and kiss me on the cheek. And my kids took a picture of that and shared it on Facebook. And that was taken a while back, but quality is not that good, but it really, when it's printed small, it doesn't matter. And then down at the bottom, this is from that sampler page, and it says, love doesn't make the world go around. Love is what makes the ride worth it. So I just love that. And then this is from the sampler pack. All of this is. And then this paper is called Lips and Stash, and it's from Canvas Corp as well. And then this is called the Red and White Swirls. This was just a piece of scrap lace that was laying on my desk. I love using up these little scraps of paper and things in my mini albums whenever I am working on them. They're perfect for that, small things. And then this is a picture of my husband hugging on Avery. And then here he is being silly again. He's wearing a pair of Elvis glasses and has these long sideburns. I told him he looks like Goofy. But again, I used a Martha Stewart punch to punch out this window here of the butterfly. So you can kind of see him and I through there. And then when you turn the page, you can see them through it. And then this camera is a Tim Holtz camera, obviously. And then on this side, again, I struggle with white space. I struggle leaving it. I want to cover it all up, but I love the cleanliness of how this looks. So I kept it simple and clean. This is just an envelope I made with the envelope punch board for the mini album to hold some journaling tags. And I put on here, I love that you take the time to make the little ones giggle. I can't wait to watch you play with our grandchildren. Family is so important to me, and I love that it is for you too. So that's on there. And then I used some of the Canvas Corp red twine to tie up the top. And then these are from that sampler page too. And then I just used some scraps to cut out these little chevrons. And this is an EK Success chevron punch, and then a Martha Stewart butterfly punch. And then on this side, it says, after all these years, you still give me butterflies. So I had to put a few butterflies on here. And then it says, with each day that passes, we grow deeper in love. And this is from that sampler page as well. So the sampler pages make the minis come together so easily. But here's a look at the painted transparency without the flower on top, so you can get an idea of what it looks like. And I love how it looks when it's closed up and finished up. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, don't forget to visit the blog post to get a list of the products and supplies used. And don't forget to leave comments. And if you're not subscribed to my blog, please do so. I post a lot of projects on my blog that I do not post on YouTube, so make sure you're in the know for both places. So thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you later.